How a campaign against transgender rights mobilized conservatives. When the Supreme Court declared a constitutional right to same-sex marriage nearly 8 years ago, social conservatives were set adrift. The ruling stripped them of an issue they had used to galvanize rank-and-file supporters and big donors. And it left them searching for a cause that, like opposing gay marriage, would rally the base and raise the movement's profile on the national stage. "We knew we needed to find an issue that the candidates were comfortable talking about," said Terry Schilling, the president of American Principles Project, a social conservative advocacy group. "And we threw everything at the wall." What has stuck, somewhat unexpectedly, is the issue of transgender identity, particularly among young people. Today, the effort to restrict transgender rights has supplanted same-sex marriage as an animating issue for social conservatives at a pace that has stunned political leaders across the spectrum. It has reinvigorated a network of conservative groups, increased fundraising, and set the agenda in school boards and state legislatures. The campaign has been both organic and deliberate, and has even gained speed since Donald J. Trump, an ideological ally, left the White House. Since then, at least 20 states, all controlled by Republicans, have enacted laws that reach well beyond the initial debates over access to bathrooms and into medical treatments, participation in sports, and policies on discussing gender in schools. About 1.3 million adults and 300,000 children in the United States identify as transgender. These efforts have thrust them, at a moment of increased visibility and vulnerability, into the center of the nation's latest battle over cultural issues. "It's a strange world to live in," said Ari Drennan, the LGBTQ program director for Media Matters, a liberal media monitoring group that tracks the legislation. "As a transgender woman," she said, "she feels unwelcome in whole swaths of the country where states have attacked her right just to exist in public." The effort started with a smattering of Republican lawmakers advancing legislation focused on transgender girls' participation in school sports. And it was accelerated by a few influential Republican governors who seized on the issue early. But it was also the result of careful planning by national conservative organizations to harness the emotion around gender politics. With gender norms shifting and a sharp rise in the number of young people identifying as transgender, conservative groups spotted an opening in a debate that was gaining attention. Who's running for president in 2024? The race begins. For years after a historically large number of candidates ran for president, the field for the 2024 campaign is starting out small and is likely to be headlined by the same two men who ran last time, President Biden and Donald Trump. Here's who has entered the race so far, and who else might run. Donald Trump. The former president is running to retake the office he lost in 2020. Though somewhat diminished in influence within the Republican Party, and facing several legal investigations, he retains a large and committed base of supporters, and he could be aided in the primary by multiple challengers splitting a limited anti-Trump vote. Nikki Haley. The former governor of South Carolina and UN ambassador under Trump has presented herself as a member of a new generation of leadership and emphasized her life experience as a daughter of Indian immigrants. She was long seen as a rising GOP star, but her allure in the party has declined amid her on-again, off-again embrace of Trump. Vivek Ramaswamy. The multi-millionaire entrepreneur and author describes himself as anti-woke and is known in right-wing circles for opposing corporate efforts.